How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're going to take a look at each of my individual stocks that I hold. And I do hold index funds, I do hold individual stocks, but we're going to break down each portfolio I have. We're going to look at the percentage of my entire portfolio that it falls under. So how much of Facebook stock do I have? How much of VOO do I have? How much of Berkshire Hathaway do I have? And we're going to go through each of these different holdings. We're going to take a look at the dividends per share. And if there were any dividends that were cut, what would they be when they come back, if they came back to the level that they were at before? So before we get into it, if you don't mind hitting the like button, it really helps out the channel. We're going to go through my entire portfolio. So this did take a while to find from all my different portfolios because I have about 5 or 6 different accounts that hold these, because I do have some at work. I have some just personally throughout time. I've gotten different investment accounts. So it does take a while to find all this. So I appreciate it, guys. Also, if you want to start investing with M1 Finance, which is where the majority of my money is, or if you want to start with WeBull, you can use the links down below. If you deposit $100 with WeBull, you can get up to 2 stocks and one that is worth up to $1,400. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much, and we'll get right into it here. So starting off, we're going to look at my M1 Roth portfolio, and depending on when you look at this might be off a little bit because some of these companies go up and down significantly each day. Some go up 5 to 10%. So it can change a little bit depending on when you're viewing this. I'm making this on Tuesday, the 28th of July. So I made this just a couple weeks ago and I had to update it, and a lot of these actually changed since the last time that I made them. So just a little background on this portfolio. I had started investing a few years ago in a Roth IRA. I started investing through my 401k and my HSA at work. And then I started this portfolio just a few months ago, actually, because I realized that there were some individual stocks that I thought were going down drastically compared to other stocks during the pandemic. And I wanted to take advantage of some of those low prices. So I started buying more individual stocks. And since then, I've kind of documented my journey along the way, what I've been buying and why. And it's gone well so far. It's hard to tell your exact return because I bought these stocks all at different times, but it's done pretty well throughout time. I think this one portfolio is up nearly $2,000. So just looking at it here, this VOO is the largest holding that I have in this portfolio. The reason I have this is I had a prior Roth IRA that I transferred over. So when I transferred it over, it went into VOO. From there, I have $1,600 in Facebook. This is one of my largest holdings. I have a significant amount in Foot Locker. I bought them when they were at just about $20 to $22 a share. Now they're up around $30. I have Berkshire Hathaway, a great stock for just long-term growth, a really quality stock with a bunch of different quality companies inside of it. I have Tesla, so I'm up massively on this. I'm up almost 100% from when I bought in. I have VNQ, which is a Vanguard real estate fund, so that is pretty steady as far as dividends go. I have Realty Income, which is a nice company to have. They pay monthly dividends, and they're also in the real estate sector. I have IIPR, which is a medical REIT. So it's a REIT that provides financing to Mary Jane growers or groweries. So I just don't want to get demonetized, just like always, so I have to be careful how I say that. I have QCOM here, which is a semiconductor company, another tech company here in Skyworks. I have Disney that I bought when they were, I think, under $100 a share. NRZ, which is another REIT, and they were down to $3.50, I think. Now they're up around $8. I bought them when they were under $4. I bought part of my position then. There's SPHD, which is a high dividend yield, low volatility index. I have CCL, which is one of my not so great stocks that I picked, but I bought in at about $17 a share. Now they're right around 13 or 14 depending on the day. I have JP Morgan Chase, which I really feel good about. They're one of the biggest banks in the United States. I also have AT&T, which is a great dividend payer. I have Delta Airlines, which is also one of my worst performing companies right here. So I did not pick that one at a good time. I have Wynn Resort, which is a hotel chain, which has actually done really well for me. It's up about 50 or 75% since I bought in, somewhere around there, somewhere up above 50. I have SPG, which is a REIT, a mall REIT, Simon Property Group. Then I have STNG, which is an oil tanker stock. So all in all, I have a significant amount of money. I have maybe $14,000. So I have $14,181 in this portfolio. Over the last couple weeks, I've started investing into my M1 brokerage account. So this is my Roth IRA, but I've been doing a video series about my brokerage account, which is just going to be a week by week. I'm going to invest $100 each week, showing you how you can build wealth over time without investing huge sums of money. So I'll link to a video here where I talk about that and go through some of the stocks that I'm buying. I think it's going to be a great series, and I'm doing it with a couple other YouTubers. So definitely subscribe and be on the lookout for that, because I think it's really going to help out a lot of people that are trying to start investing. So I have JPM, I have Realty Income, I have SPHD, IIPR, and AT&T. So these are all companies that pay nice solid dividends. I think they are all above 3% dividends. I think they're mostly between 4 and 7%. But they are companies that I think will do well into the future, and they're pretty steady. That's something that you try to build with these dividend companies. You want steady income. The next portfolio that I started to build was one that I actually started when I got my stimulus check, and I wanted to invest it all so that way I could get paid dividends on a weekly, monthly, bi-monthly basis to take that $1,200 and stretch it as far as possible and be able to capitalize on it into the future. So I bought a lot of SPHD at the beginning. Since then, I've added positions in Facebook, Disney, Realty Income, Berkshire Hathaway, and you can go down the line here. I do have NAT and DHT in this also. So those are two other oil tanker stocks. I know a lot of people watch my channel for the oil tanker stocks, and I will get down to a breakdown of how all of these fit together and how much of each stock that I have, but I want to go through each one individually a little bit more. So those are companies that I hold in here. Now, I also have been moving some of this over to my M1 finance portfolio, but that's kind of a long process. I have CMA here, which is a regional bank. I have PLNHF, which is Planet 13 stock. They are a company that's up so much since I bought into it. I think I bought in right around $1.70, and it was kind of a joke because Jeremy from Financial Education had bought it, and I wanted to buy in because I thought him talking about it would send the price up, and I think it definitely has. Their share price is around $2.60 right now. I had bought more throughout the time that he talked about it, so my average price is right around $2 a share. It's at $2.60 right now for a nice 30% gain just in a few months. I also have this RLLCF stock, which is Rolls-Royce, and it was kind of just an interesting thing because it was a penny stock that was under a cent in value. So I bought some shares of them. I actually bought 1,000 shares for it was $6 at the time, but now it's $5.30. So that's kind of the dangers of buying penny stocks. So it can go down drastically in value. I've lost about 10 to 12% since I bought it. The next one here is a 500 index. So it transferred from our 401k into a different provider recently, so I just called it the 500 index because it's labeled something different, but that's essentially what it is. I have a majority of my 401k in that. Then I also have some in the mid cap, which is smaller companies, and then more into the small caps, which are even smaller yet compared to the mid cap companies. Then I also have WeBull. I have NAT and DHT in that portfolio, so I don't have too much in WeBull, but I do like the platform more for news and for keeping up to date with different stocks. But I don't hold too much in that portfolio just because I like the layout of M1 Finance a lot. I'm trying to move a lot of my investments to M1 Finance. Then I also have an HSA through work, and I have $5,331 invested in just a general total stock market index fund. So there's that. And then I also have a retirement investment account through work, which is just an account that my company pays for. So I don't have to put anything into it. And then it pays me 3.79% each year. So I get about $63 worth of dividends on that. And they're not really called dividends, but it's interest, so I'm just calling it dividends here, and they put 3% of my salary in there. So as I work, I get a higher and higher balance in here. So all in all, I have about $30,235 invested in stocks, and then with my RIA, I have about $31,905 invested in stocks. So dividend wise, I have $634 worth of dividends. With my RIA, retirement investment account, I have almost $700. If these companies start to bring back their dividends, I'll have around $870 worth of dividends. And then with the RIA, about $933. So now we're going to go through how everything is weighted. So we're going to break down each individual company and how much I own. So of my total portfolio, I actually own a significant number of stocks. I wasn't trying to do this, but I've heard more and more about different stocks and I've been interested in them and wanted to have an ownership position. So it's kind of grown over time. I'm actually looking to consolidate and kind of sell out some of my positions here, and I'll probably do that in the next few months over time. But in my total stock market index, or just the S&P 500, I have about 45% of my portfolio in it. And then in the mid cap and small cap, I have about 3% in each of those. So I have a significant amount of money in index funds because my retirement accounts don't allow me to invest in individual funds a lot of the time. So I have about 50% in these index funds. Then in Facebook, this is my largest position. I have about 7.3% of my total portfolio in Facebook. I'm really bullish on them, and they haven't been monetizing a lot of their platforms, so I'm really excited to own them. I think that they're a great company, and I'd even like to raise this up to maybe 10% or so of my portfolio. The next company that I have a large position in is Foot Locker, so I have about 3.5% in them. In Berkshire Hathaway, I have about 4.2%, and this is kind of going down the line here, but it's changed a little bit, so when I updated it, it changed my weighting, so I didn't rearrange this all, but it's pretty much highest weighting to lowest. The next company in here is Realty Income, and I've been adding a lot of Realty Income over the last couple of weeks and couple months, but I have about $1,000 worth of Realty Income. Then I also have a significant amount in Tesla. This is one where I put maybe $700 worth in Tesla, but now it's worth $1,200 or $1,300. So it's just a significant amount now throughout their appreciation and how much the stock has gone up in price. I have about 2.5% in VNQ, 3% in IIPR, 2.5% in QCOM, 1.75% in Skyworks Solutions, almost 3% in Disney, and 3% in SPHD. I have 1.5% in NRZ, and 1% in CCL, 1.5% in JPM. That's a company that I want to buy more of, just because I think that bank stocks are down right now, but they're going to go up in value over the next 5 to 10 years. I have about 1% in AT&T, 0.5% in Delta Airlines, 1/3% in Win, SPG, I have about 0.5%, and you can kind of read throughout the rest of these. Something of note is I have about 0.7% in NAT, about 0.3% in DHT, and then in STNG I have about 0.61%. So these are all oil tanker stocks. I have about 1.6% of my portfolio in it. And I talk about them a lot on this channel because a lot of people like it. I'm bullish on the stocks in general, but they are something that's very cyclical, a little bit riskier, a little bit more speculation than some of these other companies that are tried and tested and are growing a lot. So this is a very seasonal type of industry. So I don't have a lot invested, and I've been pretty upfront with that throughout the entire series. I've been talking about how I've been taking small positions in them, but this is somewhat of a large position. I mean, it's 1.6%, but it is maybe $400, $500 worth. So it's not like I'm just putting in $10 worth into these companies. It is $500. So for me, that is a significant amount of money. It is a handful of days of work. So that is something to take into consideration. So overall, I have about 54.5% in index funds and then about 45.5% in individual stocks. I like this kind of mix in here. I think that it provides me some safety in the index funds and some diversification, but also lets me have some upside in the individual stocks. Now, I think right now this is too long a list. I don't want to hold this number of companies because it is between 25 and 30 different stocks on here. I think that's too much. I'd really like to get it down to about 15 maybe, and I think that that's a good number to work towards. So thank you guys a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. I know that I've talked about my portfolio a lot. I've talked about positions I've been buying, but sometimes it's nice just to see the total portfolio and know exactly where I am invested. Now, I am 24 years old, so I do have a lot of time to grow up my positions and to grow my investments. So thank you guys a lot for watching. Again, those links are below if you want some free stocks and to start investing with a couple different companies. And if you do want to join our Patreon, we do have an investment chat on there where we talk about different investments, different stocks, different ideas. So I'd appreciate that if you want to check that out. It's down there also. And comment what you guys think about this. What companies are you holding a large position in? I'd love to know maybe your top 2 or 3 holdings and to see what you're invested in. So thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.